Queen ShanShan, and this is a broadcast podcast. Hey, Bronze. Hey, girl. Hey, I really literally cannot contain myself right now because today's show is a doozy. It's a personal, I don't know. I'm going to be tongue-tied.
It's a career achievement.
Is it really,
Edward?
Career
Achievement Award for you.
I'm going to introduce my amazing guest in a minute, Mr. Jamal Sims. But as always, we always talk about, we have real lives, real things that goes in my life. And last weekend was great. I had another pinnacle point in my career, my short-lived podcast career. I had the opportunity to interview Buzz Seiler. He's a very well-known inventor, painter, and an entrepreneur. And he actually agreed to let me go in his house last week, his gorgeous custom-made home in Temecula. With that being said, I stayed the weekend there. Went wine tasting. We saw Boney James. You guys know Boney James is a very famous jazz saxophone player at Thornton Winery. And we just had a great time. He's so generous. And again, I'm so blessed to know people in my life that just, they want to give instead of take. Mm-hmm. And I want to aspire to that. And Buzz Seiler, thank you so much. And his wonderful wife, so generous. We just hung out in his house. We did the video in his house. And it's also going to be my first video podcast.
When's it come out?
It's going to come out when Edward gets to do the editing.
Oh, really? I didn't join that union, so.
No, I hired my friend Liz's son is a videographer in Carlsbad.
Oh, cool.
And so he did a little, not pro bono, I am going to pay him a little bit, but he's working on the editing right now, and he's actually going to send the sound editing to you so we can parlay it together.
Perfect.
So he's working on that. So it's going to be my first video podcast.
Oh, that sounds fun.
Exciting. He's an artist. It has to be visual.
Did you? Of course. Absolutely.
All of his paintings. He works with
from
acrylics.
Temecula?
Honey, we had 4 bottles of wine during the interview. So I might be all, you would be mad at me.
Girl.
You'd be so mad at me. We were drinking. Buzz likes to take it back.
He likes the buzz.
Yeah, we're in wine country. And so his whole house is like, gorgeous. The plateau that he's living on, and his wife's just like, you want some more? I'm like, sure, so it was a great weekend. How was your weekend?
It was good. I didn't drink, unfortunately.
That's right. Do you want to share?
Or did we drink? Yeah.
Do you want to share what happened to you a couple days ago?
No, I don't want to do that.
Oh, okay.
But
you weren't feeling well.
Yesterday I wasn't feeling well, but I'm better today.
Yes. Thank you for being here.
Yes, of course. And I was completely moving out of that storage unit into the house
over
the weekend.
So like I was telling Jamal, you like to dabble into the fabrics and the designs as well.
Yes,
so you were moving your supplies.
I was moving my studio into my actual house that was packed up in a storage room, an 8x10 storage room for a little over a year. Wow. And I was like, where did all this stuff come from? I didn't know that you could pack the movers. Fast, yeah. They said it in Spanish, and Danny was there. And they were like, how did they get this much stuff in this room in Spanish? I didn't hear what he said. And I was like, can be done.
Yeah.
So it's all in my house now.
Good.
To be dealt with.
So now it's all about organizing because you now are going to be working on your projects.
I am going to be working on my
projects.
Officially. Yeah.
Okay. Well, we might have to interview you at a separate time
I'm like,
about your project.
Edward, how are you doing? I'm doing fine. How are you doing? Interview myself or something.
All right. I want to also acknowledge Rodney Jack, our last week's episode. We talked about masculinity, the emasculation of the man, the American man, and that show has been giving us major reviews. We've had so many people chime in because they can relate to that. And I actually had a person actually call me yesterday and saying, he's very private as well. He's actually one of my clients.
Oh, wow.
And he called me and said, I just listened to your podcast, Emasculation Proclamation. That was the title of the show. And he says I was almost in tears because his mother was a single mother, raising 5 children, 4 girls. He was the only boy.
Oh, wow.
So you had to imagine what the mother had to do in terms of recompensating to raise a boy with 4 girls.
Oh.
And she's a single mother.
I had a coworker come in my office yesterday.
Told me that's right. What did she say?
She's she was borderline emotional about it because she was like, "This is my life. This is my life." She's a single black mother, raised her son without a father, and it just really, really spoke to her about the absence of a father in one's life, a male presence in one's life, and she was just pretty emotional about it. So
Ronnie, he slayed it. He slayed it. He didn't hold back at all.
He did not.
I didn't either, actually. I said some tea last week, and I was like, damn, should I said that?
We're learning a lot about Queen ShanShan lately.
That's what happens when you talk.
Honey,
lot.
Yeah.
when we spill some tea, we're spilling some hot licorice tea on the show, okay?
Jamal, you don't even know.
I can't wait to
You got to listen to it.
Yeah.
You got to listen to it.
Wait.
So anyways, we're going to get into with Jamal Sims after this break.
Oh, I'm in a food coma right now.
I am so stuffed.
Oh, me too.
Ma's Italian Kitchen, you did it again. Edward, what did you have for dinner tonight?
Oh, I had pasta primavera with peas and mushrooms and Alfredo sauce, girl.
Delicious. I had linguine, fresh chopped clams with garlic and pecorino cheese. Ah, it was so good.
Heavenly.
Ma's Italian Kitchen, you did it again. They can be reached at 818-567-2288 or order online at masitaliankitchen.com. Hunty.
Time for dessert.
Edward, I literally cannot contain myself right now. You know
tell
how excited I've been for weeks on this, right?
Oh, for weeks. And like a whore in church. Like nervous as a whore in church. As
a hooker in church. Hey, easy. We have some kids listening to this. Jamal Sims, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Thank you so much for being with us today.
Look, thank you for having me. It's an honor.
I thank you. I appreciate it. I think I told you when we did our pre-interview a couple days ago. I literally was so nervous to even Instagram you. Like, even though we know each other, we're not besties or anything, but we knew each other for the last 8,000 years.
Yeah.
And I talked to Heather 2 months ago, and I talked to Edward. I said, I want to invite Jamal on the show, but I'm so scared. You know why I was scared, Jamal? Rejection.
Yeah.
We're gonna get to that because being a dancer, being a choreographer, you know about rejection. You didn't get out of a gig that you auditioned for, right?
Yep, I have more rejection than not.
Okay.
Right?
So my fear was rejection.
Yeah.
And Heather was like, if you don't ask, you won't know.
That's right. And I love that you asked me. I love that you had the courage, because what you don't know is that for me, it is to be able to have a platform like I do. I love to speak to as many people as I can and share my knowledge of the industry, of life, and actually with a friend. And now I get to do it with somebody that I really know, not like Hollywood know.
Thank you.
A friend. We go way back.
We do.
It's an honor.
Way back.
Yeah.
Just so you broads understand who, again, I'm sitting next to, Jamal Sims. Let's go over his resume, his brief resume, because if I talk about his whole resume, we'll be here all night. He has worked with the likes of Prince, Madonna, Michael Jackson, Miley Cyrus, Toni Braxton, RuPaul's Drag Race. He was a lead choreographer in some of these shows, some of the episodes. Jennifer Lopez choreographed Disney's mega hit film this summer with Aladdin with Will Smith. We're going to get into that. He is also the villain in Disney's new latest film trilogy, Descendants 3, as Dr. Facilier.
Yeah.
Yes.
I also choreographed it with Kenny Ortega.
And he is a great director, right?
Yes, he is.
Yes, what movies has he done?
He's done. He did the Hocus Pocus. He did Newsies.
That's right.
He did all of the High School Musicals.
Okay.
And now all three of the
Descendants.
Yeah, and just got a star on the Hollywood.
I saw that.
Walk
You
of
took
Fame.
pictures with him to support him.
He's a big mentor of mine, I've been wanting to work with him. And so after I finished Aladdin, they called and said, Kenny would like to meet with you and see if you'd possibly want to do Descendants. And I was like, absolutely.
Absolutely. Yeah. You won the Grand Jury Prize Award at the 2018 Outfest Los Angeles Film Festival for the logo documentary,
Yeah.
When the Beat Drops.
When the Beat Drops.
You were the director and the producer for that?
I directed it. And World of Wonder, who also do RuPaul's Drag
Wow.
Race. Wow. They were the producers, as well as Jordan Finnegan, who was my producer for the film, and we had a executive producer, which is Felipe Lins. He was also my editor. So I was surrounded by family.
We're going to talk about that because I want to know
Sure.
where your inspiration came for that film,
Yeah.
that documentary.
I'll give it to you.
Okay. And you also were seen in films, or you actually choreographed films, the franchise Step Up.
Yep.
Hello, good God, his name is Channing Tatum, honey. Channing Tatum, because
That's all I have to do is say Chad.
right?
Wait, how old is that
Fine.
franchise? How old is
Yeah.
how long does that go back?
2006.
Okay, 2006. Wow.
So you choreographed the first, or helped choreograph the first one?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
All of them?
All of them.
Jamal.
Yes. I have been stepping up.
Oh my gosh. Wait, I got the wrong movie. I'm thinking Julia Stiles. What was
Okay, that
movie?
was Save the Last Dance.
Save the Last
Yeah.
Dance. Okay, so this is Step It Up.
Yeah.
Step It Up was the hip hop, like a Romeo and Juliet kind of
Yeah.
situation.
Okay.
You know,
Oh, yes,
yeah,
absolutely.
with Channing Tatum
He
and his
was
wife,
young
or his
then.
ex-wife now.
Yeah, Jenna
And-
Dewan.
yeah,
who
that's
was
right.
a dancer who I worked with before the movie.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, love.
She lovely?
Lovely.
Ah,
Both
that's
of them.
great to hear.
Both of them.
That's awesome.
Great to hear.
You worked in the Footloose movie,
Yes, the remake.
the remake Hairspray, Cirque du Soleil's Michael Jackson, The Immortal World Tour, which is fantastic. Dancing with the Stars choreographer, mini episodes,
Yeah.
shows and seasons with that. My favorite, and I have 2 episodes behind right now. So You Think You Can Dance?
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
I love that show. So great. And the Emmy-nominated 82nd Annual Academy Awards, which we watch religiously.
Totally.
We have
Yeah.
dinners, we have brunches together.
With
I
bets. We have
chicken and waffles, honey. When we go to
Yes.
we watch the Grammy or the even Academy Awards. It's a to
Eat
do.
it up.
So to find out that you choreographed a segment for that
Yeah.
show,
Yeah.
fantastic.
2 years. It was that year and the following year.
Was it good?
Amazing.
Yeah.
It was amazing. You know, look, it terrifies me, but that's when I know I should be doing
That the
it.
world's watching you.
Yeah. The minute I'm like, I'm doing this, then I get scared. But then, you do it anyways.
Right.
You know?
I have to say that I'm particularly interested in this show because my partner, he is a choreographer and on the side, well,
Yeah.
not on the side, but at the school that he teaches at. And he's really introduced me to dance and to look for things. He's a big Bob Fosse fan.
Me too.
Love Bob Fosse.
And so, speaking of Madonna, I'll be like, all these years I've been watching Madonna. He's like, that's Bob Fosse, right? I'm like, what? Really? She's doing Bob Fosse stuff? What?
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
Yeah.
So, and now, with that eye, not that I have a trained eye, but just from his influences alone,
Yeah.
I think I can spot different choreographers'
Styles, yeah.
styles. And I think I could probably spot some of yours now.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
No, I was thinking about how Bob Fosse has not only Madonna but Michael Jackson was a big Bob Fosse fan, and a lot of his moves were from Bob Fosse.
They sure
Wow.
were.
Yeah,
And James Brown.
Yeah. So it was nice to be able to see the influence that he's had on our pop culture even after he's gone.
Yeah,
Right.
years
Oh, for
after he's
sure.
gone. He's been dead for over 30 years.
Absolutely.
But
But when you create great art, it lives on.
Stays.
one of my biggest Bob Fosse's productions is Sweet Charity.
Yeah.
So, and it was a flop.
Yeah,
That
it
movie
was.
didn't do well in the 60s with when it came out. And, Gwen Verdon obviously
Shirley
was a part of
MacLaine,
that. But it
right?
was a flop, that
Shirley
movie. But now it's a cult classic because
Yeah.
that one scene with in the black and white, people in the fancy dinner.
Yeah, the
What's that scene called?
Richmond's Shrug. Frug. Yeah.
Oh, look.
Richmond's Frug.
PA knows what's up.
Yeah.
He definitely
And
knows
also Big
sometimes.
Spender. Oh no, is Big Spender? Yeah, Big Spender.
Big Spender,
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was the bomb.
bomb.
He was the bomb.
Yes.
So let's get into it. I know Jamal back in the day in 1902. Honey.
Back in the day.
I was already done with college by then.
I want to get into how I know Jamal because we went to Altamont Junior High.
We did?
In the 80s.
Ooh.
Oh, I know. I had to say it.
Yes,
I had
go
to
ahead.
say
Give
it. I had
me.
to
I
say
love
it hard.
I'm proud of it.
And let's be honest, when in the mid 80s, Janet Jackson's Control album came out, did we just lose our minds?
We did.
We lost our
Absolutely.
heads.
Yes, we did.
Because when she came out as a woman, as a single woman, as a woman in control of her
right.
career, that was that was one of my living legend lives, how I came to
Penny
be
and
who I am.
Charlene, both the same.
Who what?
Penny and Charlene.
Yeah. Different
That's
strokes
right,
and
honey,
good times.
Penny and Charlene.
And
All
like
in
she
one.
sings too.
That's
Yeah.
right, and she sings
Oh
too.
my God.
Come
and
on.
she could dance.
Amazing.
So Janet Jackson was a huge influence for me. And Jamal, you always were the dancer in school because you said that you liked to dance, but it became this amazing passion of yours, right?
Yeah. When I was in junior high, that was my first performance was Thriller. I did Thriller.
Amazing. Oh my God.
Right? And so I was asking the boys if they would be in it with me, and everybody told me no. Turn me down.
No.
Nope, I'm not doing it. Nope. So I ended up having a full cast of girls,
Amazing.
right? As the goblins,
course.
right? They were down. And so I choreographed it, and I choreographed it to the left because I learned the choreography from the TV.
Yeah.
So when you look at the TV, if you learn it from the TV, you're learning it the wrong way. But I didn't know. It didn't matter. But I did Thriller, and once I did Thriller, everybody kept coming. Oh my gosh, it was so good. Da 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 da. And then I realized that was kind of my special power, that I had this, thing that people loved, and I just could not stop doing it. You know what I mean? So anytime if there was a talent show, a lip sync, whatever, I was doing it. There was no doubt. And then so it started becoming a thing of mine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I admired you from afar.
Thank you.
I was
Were you
again.
on the side at the dance
I was in the audience going like this.
Yeah.
I was like, I love him because when I was a kid, I was inspired to be a dancer too. And I choreographed my own Grease. We did Grease Lightning in fifth grade, and I was the lead choreographer. Hello, you're not the only choreographer in this room,
You know
Jamal.
what? I know. Trust me.
Watch out!
Watch
out for your career.
Yep.
I choreographed Grease with my best friends, and it was to this day. I think me and my best friend Kim, who was in it, we talk about those good times and how fun it was. But it was our way of expressing ourselves.
That's right.
We didn't have the phones and the video games.
Nope.
We had to engage, imagine, and actually play outside and listen to music instead of downloading music. We got our albums. Oh God, here I'm aging myself.
I know you're not shy.
Not really.
A shy
I
bone
can
in
be
your
shy,
body.
but what'd you say?
Not a shy bone in your body, really, but maybe when you were younger. But
maybe when I was younger,
Jamal,
but then again,
were you
I was
shy
like,
at all?
Yeah, I'm shy.
You're
Are you
shy.
really?
You're
Yeah.
a shy person.
Yeah, it's I think that there's Jamal that's the shy, and then there's Jamal that knows that this is what I do.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So I just kind of switch it on. But I think like as a natural, my natural state is to be shy.
when you have to put it on, you have to be on.
Yeah.
Like for me, I'm a salesperson. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a businesswoman.
Yeah.
So I have to be on. Like today, I was in the Valley today.
Exactly.
I didn't want to be in the Valley today, but I had to pretend that I wanted to be in the Valley today.
Right.
Because I had to give that persona to my clients. In a way, I'm performing.
You are.
Let's be honest.
Everybody does.
For sure,
Right?
100%.
And so the minute I get in that car and I'm gone for the day,
Yeah.
I actually shut down too. And I'm like, let me just put on some music or let me
Yeah.
listen to someone else's podcast, whatever,
Absolutely.
besides mine, because mine's amazing.
That's right.
There's other podcasts out there. Did you know
really?
that,
I didn't
Edward?
know that.
There's other podcasts besides mine out there.
Okay, I'll believe you.
No, I really do want to shut down. So, so when I was a kid, I had my times of being shyness, but my mom and dad, we always had company over. So
Yeah.
that helped me get over that too. But
That
my
got
brother's
you out of
super
it.
shy. To this day, he's shy.
Right.
Very conservative, my brother. My brother's like my dad, very passive, very quiet.
Yeah.
Me and my mom will talk your ear off.
And go.
And
Right.
go.
Yes.
My mom's
Yes.
from the South.
Yes.
So Anyways, let's get into, so your family. How is the family values? How is the upbringing in terms of helping you mold your career?
Yeah. So mom and dad are the most supportive parents that I think I've ever seen. To this day, I just did the D23, which was a
Disney like convention. Like Disney Comic Con.
Past weekend, right?
Yeah. So we just did it in Anaheim, and we were rehearsing for it in Burbank. They come to my rehearsals still and sit and watch the whole thing. Like they will sit there and watch. They love it. And you know, when I was shooting Aladdin in London, they came over there and stayed with me for London. They love to be around me and watch me do what I do, and it's been like that since day one. Since Thriller in high school, in junior high school,
Proud
they
parents.
were in the audience.
Proud parents.
Yeah, from day one. So that's where it stems from. I think that they're the ones that right now I love to be able to see them enjoy my work and to, you know, and to see it all happen, you know, because they were the reason why I was able to do it. And they were the reason why, and my dad was also, you know, both of them were saying, you know, if not you, then who else is going to do it? You know, and that really, I was like, I don't know, then you should be doing it.
Right.
So yeah, it was always this thing of like pushing me to, but not in the way of a dance mom.
Right.
Or,
I was just going to
you know
say
what I mean?
that.
It was never that.
It wasn't an Abby situation.
No. It wasn't that. It wasn't that. It was
wasn't
like,
a Gypsy Rose.
No. Yeah, no. It was a cool, like, you know, just, you know, if you love it, you should be doing it.
And we encourage you. We will do
right.
as much as we can to do what you can do.
Yeah.
So, brothers and sisters.
Yes, I have 2 sisters and 1 brother, and very tight. Like
You
best
are.
friends.
I see the pictures.
Yeah, very.
You guys are
you
good
know,
like a family.
I love to be around my family, and I always say that, you know, especially now, you know, I would love, you know, I like friends, but my family is they are my friends. Like we go to concerts together, we go on trips together, and yeah, they've all been, you know, become my circle.
That's good.
That's great.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
So after high school, or even your senior year, you started a type of boy band, right?
Yeah.
And the band is like, that was equivalent to like a New Edition.
Yeah.
So again, part of the Starlight you love now. Now Jamal's like getting together. Now he's actually got your friends involved.
Yeah.
Mark Williams,
That's
who's
right.
also went to school. He
Yeah.
was in the group with you.
That's right.
Started a band called, or a group called Fresh Attraction.
Yeah.
And you were on the '80s show, putting on the hits.
Putting on the hits.
Oh, amazing. I remember that band.
You're aging yourselves tonight.
Alan Fawcett.
Alan Fawcett,
Yes,
that's right.
yeah.
Of course.
And so you actually won.
We did. We won twice.
You won twice
We
in
won
that show.
twice, and then we lost on the grand finals. We lost the grand finals.
Who was the
I
winner
knew
on
I
that one?
recognized you.
Yeah, you knew it, right? I knew you. I did. I could tell. It was this guy. He did this song 19, and it was like this army guy, and he was like animated. And
Okay.
it was actually before. He's actually before his time, because his movement now would be equivalent to like some of the great poppers of today. Like, and he was a white guy, and he smashed it. He
was
should have
awesome.
won. Like, we should have lost for sure.
Okay.
But it was incredible, and yeah, we came down here, and that was when I was in 10th grade, and Fresh Attraction came because we wanted to be New Edition, but my dad said, well, see, this is how Chubby Checkers got his. I don't know if it was Chubby Checkers, and then there was Fats Dominoes. So it was like one of them was before the other, and the other one just kind of ripped off the name.
The other, yeah.
You know. So he said, so if they're New Edition, then you guys should be Fresh Attraction.
Okay.
Made sense.
Made sense.
to me.
Right, and that's where the name came from. And so we did that. We lip synced, and then after that, we were like, "What are we gonna do?" And then we were like, "We should sing the songs now. Like, no more lip syncing. Let's figure out we sing." We couldn't sing. Okay, we could not sing, but we could dance.
You could dance the
That's
heck out
part
of
of figuring
songs.
things out, you know?
And so sometimes you just got to use that thing, and we go out there and couldn't sing a lick, but people believed we could sing, and we got a record deal.
But that is also
Amazing.
when you started choreographing a group,
That was
a
the
team.
training ground. Yes.
And that's when you started saying, I like this.
That's when I didn't know what I was doing. I
Okay.
mean, honestly, I didn't know that choreography was
A
a
thing.
thing.
Right.
I didn't know that, you know, career day, there was a doctor that came in and talked to us. There was a lawyer. Somebody's
course.
parent was
We
a
know all that.
fireman.
We all had that.
But it wasn't choreographer,
That's right.
and it wasn't on the board. So I didn't even know there was a career at that point. But I was doing all the shows. I was putting them together. I was putting together the music. I was putting together the clothes. I was putting together,
You're doing the clothes too?
Everything. So I think that was my training ground, like as a director, as a choreographer, was this boy band that I was in. And then we got a record deal, and then it was tragedy after that.
And you all broke up.
Blood on the dance floor. We recorded the album, and then as soon as it was about to come out, our manager at the time was having a relationship with one of the execs at the record company, and they broke up, and our group went right out the window.
Shut it. That's horrible.
Like right before the release, because sometimes at the labels, you could be shelved really easily.
Yeah.
And we were shelved, and I was devastated.
I know you were devastated.
Yeah, and that's when there was an audition for Michael Jackson in the paper. And that's
Next.
when I went. Yep.
Next
I actually
topic.
thought you were going to say
Next
it was
topic.
smashed when the Milli Vanilli scandal came out.
Really?
Do you remember that?
Good God. Yes.
I'm glad we didn't have to go through that, because
Oh
that
my
would have
God.
been more devastating than losing the deal.
Oh, my God.
Oh,
that would have been horrible.
Yes. Girl, you know it's. Girl,
Girl,
you know it's. Girl, you know it's.
Busted.
Busted. That was devastating for me because I had a crush on both of those boys.
I mean,
Yeah.
who didn't?
Who didn't have a crush on
Yeah.
Fab? And was Fab and what was the other guy's name?
Bryce. Or
Yeah.
was it Bryce?
Fabrice?
Fabrice.
Fabrice and what was the guy's name?
Oh, what?
You just said it, right? No? What was the name?
No, I thought it was Bryson. No, I don't know.
It was Fab and something.
Yeah, it was something. Yeah.
And unfortunately, one of them committed
I know.
suicide.
Right.
It's this industry, y'all.
That's
Yeah.
We have to
horrible.
be very careful
Yes,
what we ask
absolutely.
And we're gonna talk about that after in a few minutes about being grounded in this very tough industry. So after putting the hits, you had your first gig with the Michael Jackson.
The.
Yes.
Yes.
There ain't no other Michael Jackson.
No, there ain't.
Come on. And with his big hit, Remember the Time.
Yeah.
Explain in just a few minutes how that came to be, please.
The paper, I was getting my hair cut. In the paper in Rancho Cucamonga.
Rancho Cucamonga, honey, yes.
We read Michael Jackson have an audition. My barber said, you should go down. I was like, you think so? So the whole group went down.
Oh.
So yeah, it was just me, the whole group. And then we just started dancing. We started learning the choreography. There was thousands of dancers there
sure.
out in the street. And, we wiggled our way up to the front. I danced it. They cut it down to like 50, and then they did it cut down to 30, and then they were cutting it down to 15, and I was one of the last 15, and ended up doing the video.
Unbelievable.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so it was incredible. Michael's been is really the reason why I'm dancing, and I would watch him on Soul Train, and then when I saw him in The Wiz, that changed my life.
Here.
As the Scarecrow,
Yep.
which I have tattooed on my arm.
Do you
amazing.
really?
Yeah,
you were
yeah.
that inspired by
Yeah.
Michael
Oh, wow.
Jackson's?
He does.
Yeah.
Get it? That
Look at
I
that.
didn't know that.
Yeah, and The Wiz in a bigger way because of the message of always being home, right? Anything that we need, we have always had it all along, right? And I love that message, and also having a heart and having knowledge and also having the courage. Those are three big things. So when I was getting a tattoo, I was like, what would I do? And I said, well, let me just put that on me. And then my tattoo artist was like, James Spooner, it was amazing, was like, let's put their faces on. And so that's how the tattoo came up.
On my A-Broad Productions group fan page a couple of days ago, I put a picture of Prince, Michael Jackson, Whitney Houston, and Aretha Franklin.
Yeah.
And I posed the question, who hit you the hardest when they passed? For me, it was Michael Jackson.
Me too.
I mean, I cried. I remember my friend Lynette, my other best friend Lynette, I think he passed away on a Thursday.
Yeah.
Thursday afternoon, because it was around 4:00, and she called me. She's like, "Are you watching the news right now?" And I'm like, "No, girl, I just got home." She's like, "Sit down."
Yeah.
Because she knew
Yeah.
my influence, my love of Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson was one of the first albums. The Thriller album was one of the first albums that I took my hard-earned allowance money, and I don't know what album store I went to back in the day.
Music Plus.
The Warehouse. Girl, oh, honey, we are aging ourselves, right? Sam Goody, I don't know where I bought it at. But I remember going down to that album store and buying my Thriller album with my money and just listening to it and sitting at 12 o'clock watching, cannot wait until the video of Thriller came on TV at 12 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
But I cried. I cried for days after Michael Jackson. And my other person I cried is Prince. And because both of them were influential, they were my soundtrack of my life.
Yeah.
Besides Madonna.
Yep. Yep.
They were the soundtrack of my life. And let's be honest, we have fewer icons in our lives now.
I agree.
What was it like when Michael Jackson, you worked with him, and you obviously worked on the Immortal tour, and what else have you done with Michael Jackson?
Yeah, well, that was it.
That
So
was it?
so funny enough, so I did the video, and then when I found out that he passed, I was at the Adidas store in New York so it was evening for us, right?
Ooh,
so it was
yeah.
a little bit later when I found out we were in the Adidas store, and you just kind of, there was a DJ in there spinning, and then they started playing a Michael song, and there was like, he just passed, and I thought it was not
A
true.
joke.
Yeah, I was like, no, can't be.
Right.
And this is, we didn't have Instagram at this point, so it wasn't like you could find out.
Correct.
The phones weren't up
TMZ
to,
was literally on, you had to go on your computer
exactly.
to catch up because TMZ broke that story.
To figure it
And
out.
Farrah Fawcett passed away
That
earlier
same
that
day.
day.
Oh,
That's right.
And it was just like,
just
Masked.
overshadowed.
what?
Yeah.
I forgot about it. Like,
Yeah.
it was like the darkest day in pop history
Yeah,
for me.
it's
It's like,
awful.
Yeah, it was awful.
I loved her too. Goodness.
Me too.
So anyway, so I just didn't believe it, and then I found out that it was real, and it was devastating. But with that, I understood that at this point, Michael was, he was sick. You know what I mean? And he had, and so sometimes I don't think that he got a fair shot, in life, and
In his childhood, you mean?
yeah, and I always
Yeah.
just felt sorry for him.
Yeah.
But I was able to work with him, and then I got the job to do the Immortal tour after that.
Right.
So it was like a full circle moment.
Sure
so I was
was.
able to pay tribute to him through the show, and I felt good about that.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
How was that experience being, though, on the set? You're 20 feet away from Michael Jackson. You're 20 feet away from Eddie Murphy,
Yeah.
Iman. The set's probably insanely secure.
Yeah.
The hundreds and hundreds of people. You're 17 years old,
Yeah.
dancing alongside Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
How was that?
Well, I wasn't 20 feet away. I sat next to him, like literally almost touching,
Oh my
our
God.
arms touching. Like during one of the breaks, he came over and sat on the wall, and I was sitting there, and he sat directly behind me.
Oh,
And
my God.
Yeah, that's how I was doing. I was like, great. And he said, "Do you think the music's too loud in here?" And the music was blasting
For hours.
blasting, and he had two big speakers right on either side of him, like both of them, like blasting. And I was like, my ears are ringing. You know what I mean? I said it's perfect, because what I realized that he wanted to feel
it.
the music. You know what I mean? And he wanted to make sure that we felt the music. And I think it's so important. I've done jobs where we had to have the music real low. It's just not the same. You have to have it loud. You have to.
You want to
and
feel the
that's-
vibrations.
You have to feel it. It's got to, hit you in the body.
Do you wear ear things anyway to protect your hearing? Or
No.
So you don't at all?
You just go.
Just go with it.
Yeah.
So it was
yeah.
hours on the set for that.
Hours. Yeah, and I at Universal Studios.
Really?
In one of the stages over there.
Oh, how exciting.
Really cool. And I live right around the corner now from there, so which is really fun.
That's cool.
Yeah, I can see it every morning.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So after that experience, did you go to college? Would you go to get more training? What happened after that?
So after that, I went on tour. So I auditioned for that, got that, and then a week later, I went to an audition for this artist named Karen White.
I know about Karen White.
Yes.
I'm not just Superwoman.
I remember that.
Honey, we know about some Karen White over here.
Karen White, yeah. So Karen White came out with a new album, and I did the video called "Walking the Dog." So that was my second job, and then they asked me to go on tour, and I
my
went on tour with
God.
her. So I was gone for a while, and then came back, and college for me was never really on my list. I knew what I wanted to do, and now reflecting back, I was like, did I miss out? But I feel like I really, what I wanted to do, I was learning on the road, and I was learning in experience, and I came back, and the dance world had changed. There was new dancers that came in. that were hungry, and so I had to get back in the auditioning game again. And so so I did that and was told no so I went from 2 yeses to a whole bunch of no's.
Why do you think you got the no's?
Well, I think that, not every job you're going to get, I think that it was just a coincidence that I got the first 2 jobs that I ever auditioned for. But when I got back, Hollywood let me know that that was a rare occurrence, and don't get used to it, and you're going to be told no a lot, which really was like, I can't do this. I can't, because every time I would be told no, I would go home and I would be like, maybe I'm not good enough. And I said, maybe I need to be the choreographer, because then I don't have to audition for anybody.
You are the boss. You want to be the boss. Yeah,
so then that was really the first thing that made me want to choreograph, was the rejection. I was like, I just can't take it. But I kept going, and then I got a couple more jobs, and actually one of them was dancing for RuPaul at the Vegas at the Sahara in 90, it was like 95 or something like that. And there was only 2 dancers. We had to sing and dance. And we were background for RuPaul, and he had just
because he sings.
Yeah. So it was crazy. That was one of my jobs. And I remember having to tell my mom and dad, that I was gonna go up to dance with the drag queen.
Right.
And I didn't know how they were going to take it. And at this time I was in the closet, so we hadn't talked about.
You are just parlaying all of my topics right now.
I'm sorry. All right, let me shut up.
No, because this is a great segue.
You're right. Okay.
No, continue, because that was my next.
Okay, let's go into it.
Literally, I want to get into it.
Give it to me.
Wait. No, go back to RuPaul.
Yeah, we're going to go finish RuPaul, because I'm going to get to the other tea. The coming out. But we're going to take it. You know what? Let me just calm it down, Edward. This is my show. I'm going to go to break. Can we go to break?
I'm the director here.
Yeah, you are, and I'm talking too much.
After the break, what would you say?
Are we going to break?
We're going to go to break, because I was just super excited when he said RuPaul's Drag Race, because I'm like, I can't contain myself. So let's take a few moments after this break.
Passport, check. Underwear, check. Sunscreen, check. Travel insurance, no check. I know, I'll head over to ShanInsure, because she does health insurance, life insurance, auto insurance, business insurance, homeowners insurance. I didn't know she did all that insuring. Surely she's got to have some travel insurance for me. So go to ShanInsure.com. I cannot wait to go on my trip now. Hunty.
Okay, so finish your story about working with Mama Ru.
So I got the job, and they were telling me it's for RuPaul. I had never met him, and I had to call my parents to tell them that I was going to Vegas to dance. So again, I was in the closet. So I was dating women at this time, still trying to figure out my sexuality. I hate to use this word, the closet, because it just makes it feel so small and like, you know what I mean, dark.
Yeah. You're just being you.
It was just me, and I was trying to figure out my sexuality, where I stood in it, and I was so excited, because I was finally going to be around gay people, but I had a reason to be around it this time. It wasn't like, it was just like, I just wasn't at a club or whatever, so it was cool. So I called my dad, and I was like, hey, I got a job. He's like, great. And he was like, what is it? And I was like, I'm dancing in Vegas. He was like, oh, that's great. And then I said, it's for RuPaul. And then he said, okay, I don't know who that is, but it sounds good to me. And then I said, well, RuPaul's a drag queen. And he said, okay. And he said, is he paying you? I said, yeah. He said, well, I'll see you in Vegas.
Okay.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah.
That's exactly the response you should
That's exactly the response you should get.
I thought to myself, I think I'm going to be okay.
Okay.
I think this is going to be great. And so we did the show. Ru invited them up. It was my birthday. Part of the show fell on my birthday. And Ru invited them. My whole family came up. It was like my uncles, my aunts, my cousins. And Ru invited everybody up to a suite, and they had a party. They had a cake for me. And I looked over, and I saw some of like my macho uncles over there taking pictures with Ru. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And I was like, I'm going to be fine.
You're going to be
they
fine.
don't care. Like, I think that we put more on it sometimes then maybe we don't give our families credit,
Right.
enough credit.
Right.
You know, not everybody's going to have a problem with it. There are people that do. My experience was they didn't have a problem.
You're very
with
lucky.
it. I'm very lucky.
A lot of the guests I have on this show, Jamal, are in the LGBT community.
Yes.
I am a straight. People are like, we know, Shan, you're straight. Yes, I know. But I just want to say, my friends say my show is like a bridge to the LGBT. It connects to the LGBT community because I feel they're so accepting.
That's right.
You know, again, part of the conversation we had last week on the emasculation show is that I kind of outed myself, saying I feel more comfortable with the LGBT community because again, they judge, but there's a different judgment.
It is.
You know, it's
They
like
accept
we're
all.
accepting in their club. You were very nervous to tell your family that you were gay. When did you actually come out?
So 27. So
27 years old?
27 years old.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Like my brother. My brother came out late too.
yeah. So I was in there in the business for a while, you know, and
And you felt comfortable because let's be honest, it's a huge LGBT community, the dance community as well.
For sure.
Very
I was,
mixed.
Yeah. I was dating my first relationship. I was in my first relationship at 23, and you know, we stayed together. I still didn't say anything to my parents. Not that I thought that they were going to have a problem with it. It was just hard for me to really say it, you know, to deal with it. And I think that it was going to be final when I said it, and you know, and a lot of times maybe I just didn't want to have that conversation with them. But at one point I was like, you know what, I need to, you know, grow some and do it.
How did you tell your mom and dad?
I planned this terrible thing. It was horrible. I thought I could only be dramatic about this, right? So I did this whole depression thing where I stopped. I wouldn't answer my calls. I felt like if they felt sorry for me, then when I told them, then it would be like, oh, we don't care. You know. Right. So I did this whole thing, and then they came to my house because I wasn't returning calls, and I was sitting on the couch.
They were scared for their son.
Yes.
How dare you do that to your mom and dad?
I know, it was terrible. It was the only thing that I could think of because, I don't know why I did this. They came through the door and they both started crying. I was like, this might have been a little too far.
Too dramatic.
This little scheme. And so he was like, what's going on? You know, they were like, what's wrong? And I said, well, I haven't really been honest about who I am, and you know, I'm gay. And my dad said, oh man, we knew that shit since you were 13.
At least from RuPaul, but you know, obviously before.
You know,
Their parents know. They know.
I guess they knew already. So that was years of my pain, you know, of trying to hide and make excuses of why I wasn't dating this girl. If I was
Amazing.
So anyways, I could have relieved that at 13.
You could have relieved it at 13,
You know
living in Rancho Cucamonga.
Exactly. Yeah, and been fine. You know, but so that was kind of it, and that was the way I came back to my parents.
I hope those who are listening to the show are inspired with that story.
Yeah, I mean, maybe not as dramatic as that, but
part of that, not assuming the assumption of what people's reactions would be.
That's right.
Coming out or relieving some truth about themselves. You know, we all get scared about that rejection. We talked about rejection earlier because we all want to be accepted. So I'm glad you did that.
Yeah, and losing my family. You know, I think a little bit of it felt like, you know, I could potentially lose my family, and that's a scary thought for a lot of people. But, you know, we have a strong community, too, in the LGBTQ community, and we can build our families from here, you know? So I think that, you know, there's, you know, it wasn't my experience, but I do know that, you know, whenever somebody's going through that, I always make sure that I'm there, you know, and I'm letting you know that I'm here, you know, and I got your back. So, because it's important.
Good.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So, getting to the relationship, you met Octavius, your husband now.
I did.
And Octavius, Terry
Sims. Yeah.
Terry Sims, that's right. How did you two meet?
We met in Atlanta, and I was down there for Pride one year, and we met, and that was it. Hey, how you doing? Oh, I'm such and such. Well, he came up to me on the dance floor and was like, aren't you in music videos? And I was like, yeah, that's me. True, you know. But he'll say it's totally different. He said that I came up to him.
Oh, of course.
So the stories are not the same.
Of
They
course.
don't match.
Yeah, but anyway, so that's what had happened. And
What had happened
was, and then maybe 5 years later, he was in LA at Bossa Nova at the Brazilian restaurant.
And WeHo?
No, on Sunset.
Oh, on
yeah, It was on
Sunset.
Sunset.
Oh, okay.
I was working with some producers that wanted to go there, and it was a work lunch. And I walked in, and he was the first person at the table. He was visiting his best friend who just moved to LA.
Mm-hmm.
And we looked at him like, don't we know each other? Yeah. Okay, cool. Let's exchange numbers. And we text, and then nothing. After that little text, nothing. And then 2 weeks later, I was doing a job with Puffy. And and I was doing a job there in Atlanta. And then I decided to go out on a random Thursday night to this bar called Bulldogs. I know. And
Chocolate City.
Yeah. And I walk into Bulldogs, the first person I see is Octavius.
See?
Wow. Bumping.
Kismet.
And so we were like, let's just have a conversation.
Yeah.
Right. So we
The
had a
universe is
conversation,
bringing you guys
and then
together.
that was it.
Yeah.
That's
The
it.
universe was like, I'm working here.
Right.
Work with me,
get
boys.
it. Y'all better get it. Yeah.
Better get it.
Yeah.
And so you dated and you got married.
Yeah.
Now, I wish I could ever say, if I ever do get married, I could say I got married by celebrities.
Me too.
You know, not your neighborhood celebrities, but you got married literally on the world stage.
Indeed.
And let's get into that. Who officiated your wedding?
That would be Queen Latifah.
And who sang at your wedding?
That would be Madonna.
Unbelievable.
And Macklemore.
And Macklemore.
Yeah.
That's
I
right.
remember.
Basically, you were married on the Grammy Awards production show. How many years ago?
It was 5 years.
5
Yes.
years ago,
Yes,
and
that's
it was 30 other couples.
Yes.
That were all, from LGBT. They were straight
Straight,
couples,
yeah.
but it was it was a wedding.
Yeah.
And I remember everybody was wearing white, and
Yeah.
they all
we were
paraded-
wearing white. Everybody had their own.
Oh, everybody was wearing white.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
And you guys paraded down the aisle. This is at the Staples, right?
Yeah,
Staples
Staples
Centers.
Center, yeah, yeah.
And it was because at that time, before that, gay marriage wasn't legal, but they legalized it, and so
They overturned it.
They
yeah.
overturned it, yes. And so that's why you had the opportunity to get married in public on a
Yeah.
public stage.
That's right.
We all know Madonna is a huge supporter of the LGBT community. So, of
Absolutely.
course, it was only appropriate
Yeah.
that she sings at your wedding. How is that? Like, you're standing in... Oh, and by the way, the Texas Octavius
Yeah.
designed, right?
Yeah.
Of course he did.
Absolutely.
Sharp
Yes,
Texas.
Groom official.
Okay, hey, groom official.
All of them, or just the ones that you were wearing?
Just ours. He did.
amazing.
Because he is a fashion designer. I
Yeah.
forgot to put that. Octavius is a fashion designer.
That's right.
So yeah, how was that? You're staring at the stage. You're in front of tens of thousands of people.
Yeah.
You have probably 1 billion people watching you on TV. What
Yeah.
was that like?
Well, I had worked with Queen Latifah on Hairspray and also Beauty Shop. And so we were friends, so what we did was we planned to do a reception our reception was right after this. And so we invited all of our family to go to a place in the Hollywood Hills, and we said we were going to get married there. But what we did was we ended up streaming the Grammys to the house, so they were all
okay.
surprised that because we couldn't tell anybody that it was all like we signed
Super secret.
Yeah, super secret, because they didn't want it to get out.
Wow.
So we couldn't tell anybody, but we wanted everybody to see it. So we invited everybody to the house. There was a theater in the room, so everybody got to go.
highfalutin house, huh?
Yeah, so
It's a
everybody could go in
mansion.
there and watch it. What happened was there was the year that they decided not to stream it live. I mean, well, they had technical difficulties, so they couldn't. So no one got to see it at the house, and everybody's waiting for us to get. So it kind of like was a little bit of a downer. But by the time we got to the house from the show, everybody was like so excited, and they had been drinking already. So
Right.
it was
It was
a
lit.
party.
Yeah.
It was lit.
You hear me?
Oh, man.
Yeah. It was crazy.
But standing in the stage again, but
Yeah, to
getting
see-
there,
yeah.
what was the feeling that I'm actually marrying my man,
Yeah.
and this is official,
Yeah.
and we can do it legally?
Yeah.
What was that feeling like for you?
Scary, because all night I kept thinking like there's probably going to be some protesters there, and I would just think about them pouring. I had this
Throwing
vision.
paint on you or
Some
something.
pig's blood.
Pig's blood.
They were going
Oh,
to
my
pour it on
gosh.
our white suits as we're walking
my
down.
God.
And I woke up in the middle of the night and I was telling Octavius, like, I just had this dream. And so he and I couldn't, it was like one night I couldn't sleep, the next night he couldn't sleep. And then by the time we got there and we were actually coming down the aisle, before the thing even started, people in the back saw us stand out on the aisle because we were leading our line out. People started screaming, like standing up, taking pictures, reaching out, tears. This is before the song even started.
Really?
And we started walking, and I'm like, we're kind of hesitantly walking forward, and I'm looking, and people are bawling.
Oh,
We
wow.
get to the front, and you have like, Smokey Robinson. You have everybody in the music industry that I've looked up to for a long time, and everybody has tears in their eyes. So it was so emotional.
That's
and then you
awesome.
have, your friend marrying you, and then you have Madonna coming out. You know what I mean? It was
Powerful. That was a
Powerful.
very powerful
It was-
moment in TV
yeah,
history for me.
Absolutely.
It's huge.
Did Madonna pull you aside? Or were you able to talk to her afterwards? Or
Yeah.
did she made any comments to you personally?
No, she didn't know that I was getting married. She thought I was there working on the show. So she's like, "What are you doing?" And I was like, "I'm getting married." She's like, "Are you crazy?" It was a joke, but you know what I mean? Yeah,
Sounds like what she would say, though.
Yeah.
It was funny.
That's awesome. Wonderful. Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
So, married couple for over 5 years now.
Yep.
And so he's working on projects on the East Coast.
That's right.
And you're working on projects on the
Atlanta.
West Coast. How does that, real quick, how does that work when you have, a marriage that's 3,000 miles away from each other?
Yeah, it's hard. It's but we, since we met, I've been in this industry, so I've never really been home all the time. So, there's projects that take me out for 4 months, 8 months, and so we've kind of been like this for a long time, and we don't go a long period of time without seeing each other, whether I'm going back down to Atlanta or whether he's flying here. So it works. I think we're used to it, used to it now. I think this is probably the longest period that we haven't been, we haven't seen each other, which is like 3 months. But yeah, it's just kind of what we have to do. It's what we signed up for.
So it's what you signed up for.
Yeah,
And and when you guys see each other, it's
Absolutely.
powerful when you see each other.
Yeah. I mean, there's some readjustment that we have to do. Like, I don't put my cup over there, put it over there. You know what I mean? There's some of that stuff that goes on that you
I
gotta
sleep on this
readjust.
side of the bed now.
You know what I mean?
Right.
That's not how I fold the bed. I fold the whole this way. Some of that stuff. Yeah.
So I want to get into, now you're deep into the career. You're deep into your career, and you go back to work with RuPaul.
Yeah.
And you start working with him on RuPaul's Drag Race.
Yes.
Okay. That is a prolific show that we have in our
is.
time. Let's be honest.
It is.
RuPaul has been a leader
Yeah.
in the entertainment industry, not just for performers, but again for the LGBT community. And he's brought amazing guests on his show to critique the queens.
Yeah.
But you were a part of the show from the very beginning, correct? Did you think it was ever going to be this big?
I didn't. No. I did a show with Ru before this. There was a VH1 show, and I was a dancer on
What was that one?
It was VH1. It was like a talk show. Him and Michelle Visage were on
That's
that.
right.
Yeah,
That's
so I was a part of
right.
that. We shot that in New York, and so that and that was actually a good show. I just don't think that people were ready at that. Whatever the reason was, it just didn't. It didn't go. You know what I mean? So with this one, although I felt it was very special, I just didn't know who was going to be ready for it. But it was the perfect timing, the perfect thing at the on the right network, on the everything just lined
Because
up.
at that time it was on Logo.
Yeah, it was on Logo. Yeah, and it was groundbreaking.
It sure was.
And people were, now with the with the way social media is, people were open to it, and now these queens are hitting the stage. They're stars.
They sure are.
And the way it should be.
The way
because they're
it should be.
talented, and the things that they've gone through, the stories that they've shared have saved people's lives. And I'm always just so grateful to be able to work with the show, and I will always work with the show.
You always work. So, are you working on anything in the future right now with Ru?
Yeah, so we're doing new seasons of Drag Race, and anything that he's involved with, I want to be involved with. He's, Rue to me has always been like a fairy godmother, and I say this because he shows up right at the time, you know, in the beginning when I did the first Vegas show with him, that was when I was dealing with my sexuality, right? And it was the first time that I've seen a gay couple. It was him and George, who's his husband now.
Yeah, they've been together forever.
They were together then, and it was the first gay couple that I saw. You know, we all went to the mall and they were buying stuff together, and they're like, "Do you think this is?" You know, and I was like, "That's what I want." So that was the first thing that I was like, "I want that," you know. So that was first, and then when I released my documentary, When the Beat Drops, before I could even, and I was nervous about our Miami showing because I didn't think anybody was going to show up, and before I can even think, Rue had tweeted, "Go check out When the Beat Drops." This was without even asking. And then when I got married, I was saying the only thing I wish I could do was tell Rue what a big part of my life he's been, and how I'm so thankful for him. And we were sitting at Kitchen 24 in West Hollywood. Do you know, maybe minutes later, he pulls up to go to the little shop, the mailbox right next door to 24, and walks up, and he was like, "What are you guys doing here?" Sit there, and I was like, "Can you sit down and let me tell you what I just said?"
Oh my God, that's great.
Yeah. So I just feel like he's my fairy godmother. Like everywhere I go in pivotal parts of my life, you know, he shows up.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
You know, he has some great sayings too.
He does.
Like just like in our household, we say things that he says all the time, but I can't think of one of them right now. But you know, it's just like community. I wanted to say something earlier about community, how we were able to pick our family, which
That's right.
It's like really stuck with me.
Yeah.
But you know, Danny introduced me to RuPaul, and we watch it religiously, and we watched all 10 episodes within months.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I gotta say, like, at the end of each show, well, he's been watching it for years, but anyway, at the end of each show, I'm always thinking, like, how do those people get to go to that finale?
Oh, I would love it. Can you hook us up, Jamal?
Plug
We
right
would
now
love
and
to
be
go
like,
to the finale, by the way.
all the people in this room
We'll have to
would
get you
love to go to
We
that.
would love to go,
if that's
Jamal. Put that in the
possible.
universe.
And if
Just
RuPaul,
saying.
if you're listening, we love you.
We love RuPaul, everything about him that he has done for the community. But just as, honey, I get my makeup tips from him too. And what were we going to say?
I was going to tell you that I did a show. He has a Netflix show coming out called AJ and the Queen that I choreographed, and Michael Patrick King directed and produced. He's a director of Sex and the City and producer.
Oh yeah.
Big. The show is funny. It's amazing, and it's coming out this winter. I think
It's a movie or a series?
It's episodic. It's on Netflix.
On Netflix?
Yeah.
And it's called AJ and the Queen?
Yeah.
Oh, can't wait for that.
Yeah.
You know, I'm your Michelle Visage.
I know you are. You're my Robin, you're my Gail,
Yeah.
and you're my Michelle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Love that bitch.
You got a lot of titles.
I know.
Yeah, you got a lot of names.
a lot of commas. A lot of commas going on.
And he's also a very good friend. You're a very good friend.
Very.
Thank you, Mr. Edward.
Mm-hmm.
You had a phenomenal year this year.
Yeah.
Okay. You had the opportunity to be the lead choreographer in Disney's summer mega hit Aladdin with Will Smith.
Yeah.
And you also were in the movie too. You actually were. You had a scene.
Yeah.
An actual scene that. The movie was directed by Guy Ritchie.
That's right.
Madonna's ex.
Yes.
Honey, we talk about Madonna
Very
on the show,
expensive
Jamal.
divorce.
We know about
Yes,
some Madonna.
yes.
But Madonna's going to be on the show, Jamal. We're putting that in the universe.
I'm sure she will. I'm sure she will.
Madonna, are you listening?
She probably has heard about it by
Hashtag
now.
Madonna Minute. Anyways, yes, phenomenal performance, phenomenal crew that you had.
Yeah.
You had to choreograph hundreds of people.
That's right. Yeah, a lot.
How many assistants did you have?
2.
Like,
I only had 2 assistants.
How do you do
and
that?
this is funny that I didn't have them until I had to get my assistants over there. The idea of me choreographing this movie at the beginning was Guy was telling me that really it's not that much choreography in the movie. So I was like, well, maybe I'm just not going to be doing too much anyway. So that's why I don't have assistants here. But then I started thinking about it. I was like, no, there's going to be dancing in this movie because I'm going to make sure there's dancing in the movie. And so,
well, the genie introduction scene is the dance scene with all the genies and the ladies in there and the animals. That was a huge scene already.
But I think the visual, like sometimes if you can't see it, it's hard to understand what dancing would look like in a live action type movie. You know what I mean? And so I put together a skeleton crew of 10 guys, and I asked Guy if he would come down and check it out, and he was like, after that, he was like, do you? You know what I mean? Like, he got it.
Gave you the reins.
Yeah, and it was really, he, as a director and as a person, I learned so much from him. And when you say bring on your crew and trust in the people that you hire, that's what a great director does, right? They hire you for a reason. They allow you to do your job, and then you get the movie that you want. That's right. Because a lot of times you get these micromanagers that will come and say, "Oh yeah, maybe you should do that hand up over here," but you're not a choreographer. And not, no shade to other directors, but sometimes that can get in the process. The process can get in your way, and you don't end up getting the best material.
So he gave you full boat. He gave you full, leverage in terms of keep your creative juices going.
Absolutely.
Jamal.
He allowed us to take chances, and I think that's the best thing you could do, right? Not everything was right, but, he allowed me to do it, and then if he had another thing for it, I would switch it up. But at least
that's his thing, right? He's kind of an experimental director anyway, because he comes from
he has really
his
good,
movies are very
independent films he's done when he was younger.
Love this man.
Yeah.
He's great.
How was it like to work with Will Smith?
Like working with family.
Was it really?
That's what it felt like.
He's really down to earth.
He's so down to earth. He makes you feel like on the same level as him. As soon as he walks in the room, he makes sure that everybody's comfortable, and he doesn't want it to be weird, which is so nice, because in this industry, you all know that ego will throw you out of the room before you even get in the room.
Absolutely.
So
wigs are tossed.
Yes. So it's nice. He came in and, the first day we were in there working, just shooting ideas about Friend Like Me. And, it was great.
Did you get to meet his wife?
I did. I worked with Jada actually the year before that on Girls Trip.
That's right.
Yeah.
OMG. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
One of the most hilarious films in our history.
So I was able to work with her. It all came
Good for you. What part of what choreograph? What scene you choreographed there?
The girls first they opened the movie with this 90s dance that they were in.
That's right. When they were in the 90s outfits and the hair.
Outfits. And then they go to this club and they dance battles these other two girls, this other group of girls.
That's right. You choreographed the fight scene?
Yeah,
the battles. There was a battle dance fight scene in the club.
Yeah. Very well.
Choreographed that?
Love it.
You did a great job.
Thank you. Yeah.
Because it was very salt and pepper. It was very...
that's my time.
Yes, that's our time.
Yeah,
Come on.
for sure.
Yes, it is. That was a great
another great director,
job.
Malcolm Lee.
That's right. You did.
Yeah.
Are you going to be, can you give us some tea? Is there going to be a girls trip too?
I haven't heard anything, but I think they should.
Of course.
It was hilarious.
Continue that story.
Absolutely.
I was told that there may be a story of them going to Vegas. That might be the next girls' trip, Vegas.
And it should
with Tiffany Haddish, come on.
Oh
she's busy.
Was she awesome to work with?
Funny.
So hilarious.
Funny.
Like, straight up from LA.
Yeah.
Was homeless.
Just real.
So real, that woman.
Yeah.
I mean, every time she tells a story, I'm engaged, and I just want to pee my pants. She actually reminds me of my cousin, Autumn. And because Autumn does crazy stories too, and she's just hilarious. You just start crying, laughing.
I think
so good.
I think that's the appeal, right? I think that Tiffany feels like a cousin that everybody knows. That crazy cousin.
And of course you work with Queen Latifah because you're friends with her.
Absolutely.
So you were just in.
I was home.
You were in your wheelhouse.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So going back to Aladdin, so it was an amazing experience.
Yes.
Loved it. How long was that shoot, by the way?
8 months. So
8 months.
Yeah, we were in London for 8 months.
So it filmed all. Did you have to go anywhere like Abu Dhabi, the desert?
No, they shot some exterior stuff and some scenes in Jordan, but there was no dancing. It wasn't any musical numbers. So it was like 2 weeks. So.
And then recently you were in the Disney's Descendants 3.
That's right.
You're Dr. Facilier.
I am.
And a villain.
Yeah.
You're so sweet and so nice. You were a meanie.
Yeah,
You're
it was
a meanie.
fun.
You played a meanie.
Yeah. It's fun to pretend every now and then. That's fun. And look, I would never say I'm an actor. I would say that I can act if you ask me to, but it's an actor is a skill that you have to, I would never want to belittle that
But
craft.
you have it on your resume now. Are you going to get gigs? You think you're going to get more gigs from an acting point of view?
I really doubt it.
You so we're not expecting Academy Award nomination, Golden Globe nomination on this one.
don't think so.
Not even supporting actor.
Isn't it great playing a bad guy, though?
Of course.
Oh, my gosh.
I love all that stuff.
It's great. Because you're such a nice guy. So it's nice to get outside of yourself.
Look, it was so much fun, and the kids were so sweet. And we had been rehearsing dancing for a long time.
Right.
So by the time I had to step into their world. They were in my world when I was teaching them choreography, but mine and Kenny's. And then when I had to act, I was in their world. Right? So they were so supportive. And
They're like, we got you.
Yeah, they were
like, we'll get
exactly.
you through this.
Yeah,
give you some stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
Edward, I think we should take another quick break because I want to get into something a little bit more hearty, more meaty.
Ooh.
The soul of Jamal Sims.
Oh.
Because this is the reason why you literally have been smiling for the last hour you've been here. And so, but that comes within. So we're going to talk about being a nice person in this very tough industry after the break.
Queen ShanShan, did you get a new wig?
No.
Did you get a new shirt?
No.
Did you get a new necklace?
No.
Something is different with you.
Well, I just got my teeth whitened and brightened at Exquisite Dentistry here in Los Angeles.
Fabulous.
They do such great work, and I love them because they know that I'm a dental chicken. I'm afraid of needles, and they put me at calm and at ease the minute I arrive in their beautiful, gorgeous spa dental office.
They are simply superb.
Thank you so much. You know what? And Edward, dear Edward, you can get the same service too by calling them for an appointment at 323-484-7645 or make an appointment online at exquisitedentistryla.com.
That's bloody brilliant.
And remember, tell them Queen ShanShan sent you. Hunty. During our break, we had a guest just stop by the studio, and apparently he had some questions. Mr. Guest, or mystery guest, what questions did you have for Jamal?
First of all, I wanted to say I'm a big fan of your work. Having worked in the dance world and choreography, I was just curious to know how you professionally, personally, approach a big project like Aladdin. Like, what was a typical day? Mm-hmm. What was the setup, the preparation, knowing that the music was iconic and they're big pieces, they're big songs. Yeah. With a lot of visual tricks involved with the camera. What did you do? What was a typical day as a choreographer when you were planning your dancing?
Well, first of all, thank you. And then second of all, it's so different for each number. And so I want the Prince Ali parade, I'll take that because that was probably the biggest undertaking that I had to do. And it was much different than doing a number like Friend Like Me, which there's a lot of visual effects, which was a different process. But starting with Prince Ali, I went down to they built Agrabah on the lot. So I would just listen to the music. I would have it in my headphones, and I would listen to the parade music and just walk the set. And the set would start to inspire things like. I saw the women that when the genie turns into women, I saw the balcony where that would happen. I saw where the drums would come through in part, and then I saw where we'd get around the corner and we would see the big
Tiger.
The big castle. Oh no, when is it a castle? Where Jasmine lives, the palace.
Yeah, the palace.
Yeah, we would see the palace and where so all of a sudden the geography, it started with the geography first. So I was like, okay, this is where we'll be when this is happening. This is and so then I was like, okay, now I could go back and start to build. Who would we see first? We would see the soldiers first. Okay, what would they do? And then I would say, then the genie would appear, but we need who would I'm sorry. Sorry, excuse me. Who would be with the genie and what would they be doing? Well, I saw fans with the genie. And so it all started to build, but it was a process. And then once I started doing that, I had to map out, because I didn't have the people all in one session. So I asked for little army men figures so I could map it out on the table so I could see what the patterns would be. And they couldn't find.
Do you want to take a break?
Oh, no, I'm fine.
Okay.
They couldn't find army men, right? Because I wanted little action figures. So all they had were these animals, right? So I had like a row of zebras that would represent soldiers, and then I had
cool.
like elephants that would represent the peacock women, you know. So it was, and so I kind of did that on the table. Then started choreographing their movement, it was a process and that's different than how I approached
Like a music video or something.
or even Friend Like Me was more like the movement started to the music obviously dictated the movement for me, because it was telling a story like what kind of friend I am, you know, and you know, you've never had one like me, so I could do a bunch of magical things. And so we would sit with our graphic artists and our special effects and talk about what cool things that would be fun to experiment with. And I would throw out ideas, he would throw out ideas, and then we would come to like have them in, and then we would pitch them to Guy, and Guy would be like, yeah, either he liked it or he didn't, or maybe we should work on this more. It's kind of how that happened. So it's all different.
And obviously it's a parade, so there's a lot of forward movement.
Yes.
I'm curious, when you're teaching it to the dancers, do you give it a nickname? Like, because you know it's walking with the flair, it's hip hop walk, it's jazz dance, jazz walks. Yeah. So when you're doing it, how do you differentiate from just like walking in what I mean, you do it with the style, right? And of course, as dancers, they have to copy exactly how you do it. But what did you have to tell them, if anything, to differentiate between just like parade marching and like dance? Was there any differentiation?
Yeah, well, they all had characters. So, you know, these were our soldiers that were protecting the genie. You know, these were our women that were, you know, giving gifts out. And these were our soldiers that were offering gold camels to the princess. So everyone had a character that they were.
And it inspires like the movement.
Yeah, the movement, right? So definitely want to give them some sort of backstory of who they are.
Like intention.
Yeah,
too.
intention, yeah.
And my favorite part from that parade was before the genie's waiting for the Sultan to tap. And then it's slower, right? And the guards are doing this cool move.
I
think they walk back. They walk forward, but their upper body is pushed back. And then they do this cool like half one arm goes up. Yeah. It's really cool. Yeah. It was very on the beat and very specific to like the beat. It's very stressed. So thank you for sharing. It's
absolutely.
I'm sure everyone has his or her own style of choreographing, but it's a huge project because you're in charge of not just bodies, but you have to be certain that you're telling the story with the bodies. It's not just, I mean, music videos have stories in themselves, but when it comes to stage and movies, not only do you have to have steps, but those steps have to move the story forward. I mean, if you can't act anymore, you sing it.
That's
right. If you can't sing anymore, you have to dance it.
That's right. And I think that's the director part of me, the side of me that is a director that enjoys telling the story through music and dance. That's where I thrive, because it is the thing that like gets me going in the morning. I'm like, I get to do this. You know what I mean? And I can tell this story, and the dialogue stops on the paper and we continue the story. So it's it's the part that really makes me tick.
And would it be awesome for you to, if they do ever do a remake of The Wiz, to have you direct and choreograph it? You should put it out there, because I think
that's the dream.
One of the best projects.
Jamal,
that is the dream. You know, I feel like they already did it, and I don't think they'll do it again. But if they did, I would love to, because they did it. They did the live.
They did the live version.
Well, they're doing all these like movie studio, like not live.
No, I know.
And
on the networks.
Well, no,
No.
not live, like
remake.
a Chicago,
Yeah.
like a remake.
Oh yeah.
They
Well, I
should
thought
do
you were
that,
talking about the
and
networks.
Yeah.
That'd be
Like
awesome.
They revived. No, they did it on Rent.
Right, Grease.
Did
Yeah,
Grease?
JCS.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
But I
thank
would
you.
wanna do-
Thank you for letting me ask the question, and
Thank you for
Appreciate it.
asking the question.
keep doing what you're doing. You're inspiring everyone, and
Yes, he
Thank
is.
you.
thank you.
I appreciate
We
it.
don't allow people on the street coming into the studio,
I'm
so you're
sorry.
very lucky that we opened the door
Thank you
to
so
you.
much.
Get out.
Queen ShanShan.
Get out of here. Okay, so it's interesting that you are parlaying into the other conversation I wanted to have with you about a director
Yeah.
and finding your leadership. You directed your first documentary called When the Beat Drops.
Yeah.
And you also won quite a few awards for it.
We did.
Your first
We did.
indie movie,
I
first
know, craziness,
documentary.
right?
So tell
Craziness.
us, what was that movie about? Why was it called When the Beat Drops?
So, well, how it came about, I'll start there because it was an interesting story. Was I went to Atlanta for Gay Pride, the Black Great Gay Pride on Labor Day weekend.
Oh, that's it. Oh, okay.
Yeah, in Atlanta.
Okay.
And
Like-
I just
Nala has their second Southern Decadence this
Yeah,
weekend.
yeah.
And so I didn't know Atlanta has their own Black Pride over there for on using a Liberty weekend.
yeah, it's usually on Labor Day
I
weekend.
need to go. I need to check that out.
So that was, and this was before I was officially out of the closet.
Okay.
Whatever that is. And I go down there, and I'm sitting in the crowd, and I'm like kind of mixed in the crowd, and these boys come marching out in perfect unison with intention and precision, and start executing these dance moves, and this other group comes out on the other side and they start battling. So it's like, to me, I always refer, like, kind of would say that it would feel like like breakdancing when crews would come out and one would go and the other one would go, but it was with these feminine moves that were like from the drill teams, from the HBCUs. Like, they would really hit these steps, and they had these high boots on with heels. You know what I mean? I'm like, what is going on? It just blew my mind.
Okay.
And it blew my mind because they were actually really good dancers. They were athletic. They looked like they had training, and it was awesome. So I watched them for like 3 hours straight. And I was like, what is this called? And they were like, this is called bucking. And I was like, I never heard of it. I've been in the dance industry for a long time, and I've never heard of this particular style. Didn't know it existed. And this was in 95, maybe 92, 93. And since that day, I always wanted to do a story on these guys. And not until 2013 did I say, you know what, I'm going to go down there and do a documentary on these guys, because I think that their story needs to be told. I hope they're still there. That's what I said. Well, lo and behold, we went down there and we found this group that I had originally seen years ago, and they were still doing it. And what I realized is that, so I asked them if they would come and meet with me, and I would tell them about this project that I wanted to work on. And then I also invited 5 other teams. Well, I got there on a Thursday. I flew my crew down there, which is expensive, to put them up in a hotel for the weekend.
You're using your own money, by the way.
I'm using my own money, by the way. And, these are the things that you have to do. If you want something done, you have to do it yourself.
Yeah.
Because if you're waiting for somebody to give you the money, good luck.
Good luck
Good
with
luck.
that.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
People need to see proof of concept. People need to see what what you think it should look like, and there has to be vision. So I had a vision, but I needed them to be a part of it. Well, they didn't show up that morning, that Thursday morning. That everybody said they were going to do it. Nobody showed up. So I scheduled them in between, like one at 1, one at 3, one at 5. So because I didn't think they liked each other on the dance floor. They didn't look too friendly.
Really?
So I scheduled each team like in intervals, right?
They're actually rivals.
Yes. And so, but no one showed up until the last group at 10 o'clock. All of them showed up together. What I realized that they had all called each other and said, what, this guy Jamal is doing what and who, and let's all go together. So they ended up all coming together to the dance studio, and their body language was like, I'm not into it. I don't care what you're talking about. This seems like a scam, whatever. So I said, I told them who I was, what I wanted to do. They were like, well,
they didn't know your resume. They didn't look at you.
Well, they probably did, but at this point, they're not really interested. It was underground. This was a thing that was underground for a long time, and a lot of them were not interested because a lot of them weren't out to their families. A lot of them weren't out at work.
It's like
this
voguing,
is still the South,
like back in the day.
Yeah,
like Madonna gave it a voice, and
Yeah.
they were like, "We don't want the voice. We saw it."
Do you know what I mean?
Impose, yeah.
Yeah. So this is in 2013. So I'm thinking that we were a little more advanced in 2013, a little forward, but I had to realize we are in the South. And the South is totally different.
Yeah.
So
and
different.
They so they weren't really interested in it, and so what I told them was, I said, look, if you guys don't allow me, I'm not interested. They thought that I was going to make fun of what they did and make a mockery of their of what they what they do, and I was like, that's not what I want to do. I would love to give you guys credit for creating this particular style and this genre of dance, and I'm not interested in your personal lives too much. I mean, we're gonna have to explore, but I really want to know why you're still here. What are you guys doing? And I want to shed light on that. And so they ended up saying, well, we'll talk about it. And then the next morning, I'm like, if they say no, my $50,000 is out the window.
Gone. Yeah.
Because I don't
you already
have the
invested
stuff.
that
Yes,
much to get the crew down there to get.
Yes.
Oh my God,
Yes.
Jamal.
Well, it wasn't exactly $50,000, but it was close.
A lot of
That's a
money.
lot of
Yeah.
money.
Period. $50 is a lot of money.
Yeah. So, exactly. So
That's a wig for me.
Yeah,
Okay.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So
Okay.
next thing I know, we're driving around Atlanta, and we're just shooting the exteriors of Atlanta, just like things, because we hadn't heard from them. Then 10 o'clock, they said we'll be at the house at 11. I was like, oh my gosh. So they agreed to come on. I shot that weekend, and 5 years later, we finished it.
5 years later, so it was a 5-year production.
5-year process, yeah.
Wow, and that's your heart and soul then,
It is. It was a passion project. When I was in London, I was editing. I was doing Aladdin during the day, going home. They were sending me clips of, the edits, and, so it was still going.
So
while I was still
you were constantly working in London.
Yes.
It was not a vacation.
It was not a vacation. No. But, because I love what I do,
Yeah.
it doesn't feel like work. And I know I said,
Preach on it.
Yeah.
Preach on it, because you're very fortunate in that, and that ties into my other thought for tonight is keeping yourself at a humble level.
Yeah.
You are very lucky to love what you do, and you do what you love.
That's right.
I don't love insurance.
Yeah.
But you know what? I love working with people.
You do.
I love helping people.
That's right.
I get it from my parents. And, filling out a 10-page application is not a fun thing to do on the phone or on an application or the computer. But I know I'm helping that particular person protect their lifestyle.
Yeah, you're invested in that.
I'm invested in that. So you love dancing. You've been a dancer for the last, 35 years, 40 years. And you're teaching now people to do what you do. You now, believe it or not, you have no really control over it now, Jamal. You're now a mentor. You are a role model. What do you tell kids? And I'm not just like kids, but young adults, people in their 30s, people in their 40s, still trying to pave their way in dance, performance, choreography. What are you telling them now in this very tumultuous time that we're having about performance and being who you are?
Well, the first thing I say is that, if you're thinking about doing this, you better make sure you love it, because there's going to be times when it's not so glamorous and it's not so, reality is that I've been lucky enough to be working consistently for a while, but that's not everybody's story. And there's times where you may work for, and even in my story, I might not work for 3 months, and there's no check coming in on Friday.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So you have to figure out and plan according to that kind of on and off again, job security, which is not, there's no job security, but that's kind of the give and take of what we do. It's like our work is never consistent, and it's consistently inconsistent, if that makes sense.
Yeah, totally makes
That's
sense.
what it is.
Yeah.
And so I think that we live on the edge. We've chosen to be a part of this creative community, but it's not easy. So if you're somebody that's on the fence and you don't really know and you don't love it that much, I would say don't do it, because it's just not, it's not all glamour. So it's gritty.
It is gritty. You have to keep, again, like I said before, humble in this industry, but you've worked with some tough personalities.
Yeah.
You've worked with some wonderful personalities.
Yeah.
You are a choreographer, so you are in kind of like the middle in terms of the creative process, right? Because you got the director of a video or a movie telling you, okay, here's the vision, Jamal.
Yeah.
And then you got your actors and you got your dancers who are bringing that visual to light. Not to say, I had a little accent there. Not to say any names, because we don't want to scar anybody. We don't want to, bring in any negativity. But can you recall a time on set where you had to deal with a highfalutin star, a celebrity, who was difficult, and how did you maintain your dignity? How did you maintain your temper? How did you maintain the professionalism that came across the camera to the crew and to that actor, actress?
Well, I love what I do. I love that I'm able to have the opportunity to do it, but I don't take it that serious, if that makes sense. I don't let it rule me in a way where I have to come out and curse people out or yell at folks, because that's not what I'm here to do. So if a particular artist, which I've worked with, if they have this huge ego problem and they need to run things, I let them run it. Y'all do what you want to do. You just tell me what you need. You hired me to do the choreography. This is what I offer. If this is what you want, let's take it. If not, I can go somewhere else. There's no need for me to argue with somebody over a creative if it's not their vision. This is what they brought me in to do. So, I let people I let them rant, I let them rave. I go and I'll sit down and I'll be like, are you through? Okay, now can we move forward or not? I think what happens is when two egos start to go at each other, then there becomes a problem. But I don't have that problem, because I'm not going to come at you with trying to push my vision on you. If this is not what you want, then I'll go sit down.
Oh, I know you've seen some drama.
Oh, I've been through it.
You've been through it.
I've been through it.
I know you see some woo, this could be this could be a story right now.
Yeah,
be a video
exactly. And but I'm like, I'm cool like that. I don't let that bother me, because I know a lot of it is insecurity is what you're dealing with. And the people in the industry are so insecure about, I'm
everything. Insecure. For God's sakes.
We all are. And the eyes are all on them, so they want whatever they're putting out there, they want it to be the best. But with insecurity, you do have to trust people that you hire, and you have to let them do their jobs.
Right.
So I think that, again, it comes back to who you are as a person and what you allow to either make you go crazy or not,
Going back to the guys who weren't trusting you in Atlanta. The bucksters, the bucking dance.
They're bucking. They're bucking.
Bucking. They had to trust you, and did it hurt your feelings? Because you're a human being. Did it hurt your feelings that they didn't trust you? They thought that you were a scamster. No. They thought that, who's this dude? Whatever.
No, never. No, because they didn't know me. It was my duty was to make them trust me, and it wasn't something that would be overnight. But I'm glad they didn't, because there are people that had offered to do that documentary, the same type of thing to them, that were asking them to dress up in booty shorts and put on makeup. And they were like, that's not what we really do. But I think that for some people, they would have done that just for the fame. You know what I mean? So it was my job to really ensure them that they could trust me, and that I was going to portray them in a way that was positive and that was, just human,
Right.
actually, because there's some people that would create characters
Yeah.
out of them. You know what I mean?
I forgot to ask you, what were the awards that you won for that movie?
Yeah, so we won in Miami. We won the Knights Award in the Miami Film Festival, and then we went to Frameline where we won the Best Documentary Award, and then we won in LA for the Outfest.
Right.
Yeah, and then there were 2 other cities. I think it was Milwaukee, and yeah.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
That's your work.
It's huge.
Your work.
So proud of it. I'm really proud of the
That's
movie.
awesome. And now it's like ingrained in film history.
Yeah, it's there.
That's awesome. Going back to again the humbleness, and I like what you said, proof of concept. The children who are dancing in today's, the videos and the YouTubes and everything. What do you think of people or children who say, "I want to be a YouTuber"?
I feel sorry for them.
I want to go up to be a YouTuber.
Yeah.
Like, what does that mean?
Yeah. Well, it means that they want to be famous really fast.
Right.
And, as we know, we don't, nothing happens overnight. Like we just talked about, you need to take the time to train and to learn from people that have experience. Because if you get it really fast, I think you could lose it really
Absolutely.
fast. Because what happens is you will be tested on your craft. And if you don't know enough, you're going to learn the hard way, And so all of these YouTubers, which, hey, I wish I had that vehicle when we were growing up, because it's a way to put out your work, and I get why you do it. It's you could do it in your home, but at one point you have to go outside and you have to work with people and you have to learn how to put projects together, and there's more to just choreography than just choreographing in your room.
Right.
But a lot of times with YouTubers, that's all they know.
Yeah.
But when they get outside, they don't have the experience.
Exactly, or the training.
The training.
I mean, you didn't really have official training. You trained in the cave life.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
You didn't go to college.
Nope.
You didn't go to, the fancy schools in New York or here in LA.
Well, funny enough, I wanted to. I wanted to go to ballet. I wanted to take ballet when I was young.
In New York?
And
when you were a kid.
in
Okay.
Rancho Cucamonga. I asked my mom, I was like, "Can you put me in a dance school?" She, of course, my mom was like, "Yes, let's go." And we went to a dance school, and the teacher came, and she said, "Well, he could do it, but he's gonna have to wear tights for ballet, and he's gonna da da da." And I said no. And because I was 13, I regret it, yes, but I was afraid of being teased. And
You keep reading my mind, Jamal.
I'm sorry,
you keep
sorry,
reading
sorry,
my
sorry,
mind.
sorry,
Don't
sorry,
apologize
sorry,
because this is amazing kismet that you and I are having. That's going to be
sorry.
my Wiglet of the week, because we're going to talk about Laura Spencer in a minute. Very apropos timing. But yes, preach on the ballet. And you were scared because you were afraid of being
Yeah.
bullied?
Yep. Yep.
We're still going to talk about that in a minute.
Yep.
But I have a problem with comparing my success
Yeah.
with others. I think that,
We should not.
thank you, preach on it,
shouldn't.
tell me, spank me, give me a verbal
Yeah.
spanking, whatever, because I get this all the time. Stop comparing yourself, Shannon, to other people. Stop comparing your
You can't.
success to other people. You have been doing this for many, many years. Did you ever compare yourself to other people?
I would be lying if I said no, right? Like I did. I've had those insecure moments of why didn't I get this job or why? But every time I ask myself, the answer is always there. Whatever when I don't get a job or like and somebody else gets it over me and it comes out and I'm like, that's why I didn't get the job. You know what I mean?
Right.
And then I hear, well, you didn't want to be on that anyways because such and such and such. I'm like, oh gosh, So sometimes
It was a blessing in
I think
disguise.
rejection is God's protection.
Ooh,
And I like
can you say that again, please?
Yeah. So sometimes rejection is God's protection.
like
So
that.
you don't,
that.
you know what I mean? So you may not know why you didn't get the job or why you didn't book that gig, but you have to believe that it was something protecting you from whatever it was. And even if the project it comes out amazing, there was something in it that wasn't for you. So now I'm more relaxed in that. Is it a mantra? Yeah, I'm more relaxed in that.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So before I get into the Wiglet of the week, I have my amazing producer, Edward, who's been dying to ask Jamal a question, the Madonna Minute.
The Madonna Minute, and you have a minute. Go. No. Okay, so we all know, I've heard that Madonna is a perfectionist, okay? Can you speak to that? Is she a perfectionist? And tell us about it.
Definitely a perfectionist. It's intimidating. I think that, the environment, because you are up against, you're choreographing for somebody who has done it all. When I tell you, there's nothing probably under the sun that she hasn't done. So when you present to her your choreography, it has to resonate with her. So everybody's sitting around wondering, is this going to be something that she wants to do, or is it, so I think that was probably the biggest the nerve-wracking part of it. But the other side of it is that, she has it so locked in by the time she hits the stage, it feels like walking. Mm-hmm. So that's how well rehearsed she is. So that's something for people to aspire to, is like, if you know it, where you know it both forward and backwards, when you get to that stage, it's going to be perfection. And that's what people see, She knows that show from the beginning all the way to the end, and she could probably do it backwards.
Right.
That's what's nice.
What was the tour you worked with her on?
It was Sticky and Sweet.
What were the songs that you choreographed?
I did a new song called Heartbeat that was on that album.
Right.
And then I also did Into the Groove, the jump rope double dutch.
Oh,
number.
great. That's
awesome.
your work.
That was fun.
Love that work.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Yeah.
God, that's awesome. Wonderful. And that is your Madonna Minute. Boop. So Jamal, on our show, we have something called a Wiglet of the Week. I wear my wigs, obviously. I got, right?
Yes.
They look fabulous, right?
They're great. Great. I want one.
Which number
I can
is
give you a
this?
few, because I have a few on my shelves right now that
Do you
I
have a
need to
number or
retire.
something?
What'd you say?
What number is it?
This one, I don't know with it, but I love her. She's really cute tonight.
Right.
But I
is.
forgot what her name is, but she's a cute girl.
Right.
She's a cute girl. Anyways, the Wiglet of the Week is basically about bullying. And bullying comes in all types. From school, from work, from the entertainment industry. And unfortunately, a few days ago, Ms. Laura Spencer from Good Morning America had a slip up. She misspoke.
That's right.
I don't think it was truly deliberate, because she was making a joke out of it. Yeah. But anyway, she joked about Prince George, who is the son of William and Kate.
That's correct.
And Prince George taking ballet lessons. Yeah. And the dance community lost their mind.
Yes, they did.
They lost their mind. She basically said that Prince George, basically good luck with his ballet lessons, something kind of off the cuff there.
That won't last long.
That won't last long, because he's a little boy, and little boys don't want to, she's saying, or she's implying that little boys don't want to do ballet.
Right.
No, little boys don't want to do ballet, but little boys do want to do it. So there was a controversial joke that she put in. Yeah. And the dance community came out in droves and protested the show and protested Laura's statement. And she did a full apology, I think the next day or 2 days after, when there was an uproar. And she basically said she screwed up, and she did. Yeah. She had 3 very major, prominent choreographers on the show. Yeah. Travis Wall, who you've worked with from So You Think You Can Dance. Right. She had the lead dancer from Joffrey Ballet. What's his name?
The name's Fleeting.
Yeah, he's a he's major ballet dancer. And then the other man that she had on is actually a big dancer. He's going to be in the Cats movie.
Right.
And all of them was basically saying, Laura, where's our apology? Yeah. And she got it.
And she did it.
They got it.
Yeah. I mean, she gave them their apology. And she
I just saw the sit-down interview that she did with them.
Yes.
Yes,
and she learned her lesson. But it goes to the point of bullying. And as a girl who's catered to dancing girls, right? We are. I had ballet lessons.
Yeah.
I had tap dance lessons. I had baton lessons.
Right.
I had jazz lessons. My brother had baseball,
Yeah.
football,
Yeah.
basketball, whatever. He hated them all.
That's right. Me too.
Yeah, me too.
I did too. Yeah,
And the funny thing, I like the sports better than the
of
dancing.
Course. That's saving my sister. Yeah. Yeah.
My influences were Gene Kelly,
Yeah.
Fosse, of course, Sammy Davis Jr., Alvin Ailey, honey,
Yeah.
Mr. Alvin Ailey, James Brown, Michael Jackson, of course,
Of
Prince.
course, yeah.
So speak on that, and what was your reaction to the whole Laura Spencer gate?
Yeah. Laura Spencer Gate. Well, one thing is that, I, like I was saying before, I wanted to do ballet, went down to the school. The teacher told my mom he could come in, but he has to wear tights. And then I said no, and I'm not doing that. So I ended up having to play football and do all the other stuff that.
Did you say no because you didn't want your friends to think you were?
I did.
Yeah.
I said
Judge
no.
you.
Also because I was really ashamed. I'm 13. My parts in my body are showing. You know what I mean? It's like the cot.
The other regions are sticking out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
and I was really insecure. I was skinny. So it didn't feel like I wanted. I didn't feel like I wanted to be teased, and I wasn't brave enough. So, but looking back, I wish I could have been brave. So when I see the dancers that have come out, like Travis Wall, and who they are of a different generation, and it's a little more, boys are a little more accepted than they were back when I was growing up, but it still takes courage to be able to do that and to follow your passion, whatever it is, if it's not doesn't fall into line with what society deems as masculine or a boy's sport or a boy's color, pink, or you know what I mean, like that whole thing. And I think that it's horrible. Now, as far as the mishap that happened, because I do think it was a mishap. I don't think that she is somebody that is a bully. I don't think that Laura is a bully.
No,
Not at all.
she just misspoke.
Absolutely. And I think that in this climate, in our society, we have to allow people to make mistakes and then apologize for them and then accept it.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because she did an awesome apology, and she sat them down, and I think that that's okay. But we have to be very careful right now.
Everyone's so PC.
Yeah, you know what I mean? And I get it. I understand. Look, I didn't do it because I didn't want to be bullied. So I was basically afraid of that. But it happens.
Right.
So we can't overlook it. We can't overlook it.
Have you ever been bullied before?
You know what? I want to say no. It wasn't my. No, I did.
I've been bullied before in high school. It was very brief because obviously I can kick their ass. But I did. There was this one girl.
Yeah.
Her name is Kathy. I'm not going to say her last name. And she did bully me. I think because not to the point where it was like I lost sleep.
Yeah.
But she was mean. She was a mean girl.
Yeah.
She's one of those white mean girls in high school. And I was in choir. I was in choir all 4 years. I was in band in junior high. I played the clarinet, and a little bit of high school too. And she made fun of me because I was in a cappella. I was doing a cappella, and I was I think she saw us in a school performance or something like that. And I love to sing. I still love to sing. I still love to perform and everything. But it hindered me a little bit.
Of course it does.
It did hinder me.
It does.
You know, words can hurt.
To the heart.
You know,
to the core.
this whole, words, what's the saying when we were kids?
Sticks
and stones may break our bones, but words will never hurt. How many words do hurt?
Words can break you.
And kids are mean.
Yeah.
And so Kathy was a mean bizwatch.
Yeah.
Okay.
Did
And
you know her? Did you know this Kathy?
Do I know Kathy? Did she go to Altaloma?
She went to Altaloma High School. She went to junior high though. She went to Altaloma Junior High with us. Yes. I knew her since I knew her since Stork.
I might know.
I knew her since Stork.
Elementary?
Oh yeah, we
Oh,
opened.
okay.
We were the first class that started Stork Elementary. Again, 1902, 1903.
Yep. One around
Jamal's
that
like,
time.
I know that bitch. I pushed her down the stairs in third grade.
Hurry
Oh, I
up.
had to call her out.
Hurry, Cleopatra.
Oh,
Yeah.
I called her out one day on her bullying to me, and then she didn't bully me anymore. But the point, because I could sing. I could sing my ass off.
Yeah.
So I think she was jealous. And that's another thing
where
about
it comes
bullying, that we find out these bullies are jealous of the people that they're bullying.
Of course.
They are. They're afraid.
They're afraid. They're afraid. So I just want to say to all you upcoming dancers out there, performers out there, singers, piano players, guitar players, if you want to build bricks all your life, don't let anybody get you down on your dreams, because I'm a product of that. You know, I came from very humble means.
Yep.
You came from very humble means. Edward came from very humble means, and we're still living in our dream, right?
That's right. Be brave.
Yes.
I think that's my takeaway from this whole thing. You know, was like, I wish I could have been so brave when I was younger. You know, and not really cared what people thought about. You know, and I think we have to. Sometimes we aren't going to be popular. We're not going to make the popular choices, but it's important that you stand in what you want to do, you know, and that's because that's who you are. So many times we back out because we care too much about what people think, and at the end of the day, they're not going to pay our rent. They're not, they don't do anything for us. So why do we even give, a bleep about what they think?
Okay, you can curse on here if you want
I can't.
to.
Well, fuck.
Yeah, I've said
Jamal
two.
said the F word. You said a couple bad words too tonight, Edward?
The B word
You said the
earlier.
B word?
I think before that. So we're up to 4 or 5.
I think we're
Bad.
good. I think we're still PG-13 or
Yeah.
PG on the show. Jamal, thank you so much.
Thank
Appreciate
you,
the
Shannon.
input on the Wiglet of the week.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
If you are abroad and want to come on our show to discuss experiences with food, culture, beauty, and travel, please email us at abroadproductions@gmail.com. You can also find more information about our show on our website at abroadproductions.com. Follow us on Instagram at Queen ShanShan, our Facebook fan page, which is Abroad Productions, and Twitter, which is at _broad_prod, spelled PROD. And if you also want to be on the show, email us as well at abroadproductions@gmail. Jamal, I'm full of love. I'm full of graciousness.
Me too.
I'm so grateful. I'm gonna go to bed smiling tonight because I woke up this morning nervous. I was like, oh my God.
Why are you nervous?
We
friends.
I
Come
know
on
we're
now.
friends, but still, you're so
Sometimes
amazing
the
to
hardest,
me.
right?
What'd you
I
say,
guess.
Edward?
You know somebody longer, sometimes it's harder to
Yes,
to
that's
meet them
true,
again.
actually, yeah.
Re-meet
Yeah.
and
I
reconnect.
Yeah,
understand
because if
that.
you remember,
I
I
do
met
understand.
you last year at the Abbey. We were
right.
having
Yeah.
cocktails and everything,
Yeah.
and you were your friends with Octavius.
Yeah.
And you know my other good friend, Arnell.
Yes. Oh, Arnell.
Isn't he amazing?
Yes. That guy.
Arnell is listening. Thank you,
love
Arnell. I love him. He was
Arnell.
actually on my show. I don't know if you get a chance to listen to that episode.
Yeah.
He was on my season 2, and we talked about him being a choreographer as well.
He's incredible.
He's a doctor.
Yeah.
He's a mentor.
he's
He's a
great.
teacher.
Yeah.
Arnell's fantastic, right?
He's amazing. Yeah, he's actually I invited him over to watch the documentary before it was done because I wanted to get his opinion about it.
Yes, I'm
Yeah.
going to text him tonight and say, guess who I had on the show?
Yeah, he's awesome.
So, yeah, I love you, Arnell. Thank you for being such a great friend. So, again, I just want to say thank you, Jamal. Thank you for your time because I know you're busy.
No, but look, this is what it's about. You know, we have to support each other, and you know, I love to come and share my experiences. It hopefully it will help somebody somewhere and inspire them to
I think so.
follow their dreams.
I
You
think
know,
so.
because this is what this life is about. We only get one.
Preach.
Yeah,
That's true.
Preach it, please.
So inspiring. Thank
Yeah.
you for coming tonight.
Thank you.
absolutely. Thank you. I've had so much fun with you.
Thank
guys.
you. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
So, Broads, stay tuned for next week's show. We're going to have my friend Paige. She is a mother, a wife. She's a mother of a disabled child, and we're going to actually have a interesting perspective on her life raising her child. And sometimes a mother who raises physically disabled children their voices are not heard. And so she came up to me early December saying, I would like to be on your show and talk about what it's like on my side of the park. And I'm like, absolutely.
Yes. We
Because
gotta hear it.
one of the biggest motivators, Jamal, on the show is to have people's voices heard.
That's right.
That you don't really
Hear
think
from.
of.
Yeah.
Right? So Paige's voice is going to be heard. Paige, we're looking forward to seeing you next week. And it's going to be amazing.
Yeah.
Until then, I'm Queen ShanShan, and thank you for listening to Abroad.